I think one of the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing online is people treating trends as the problem. Trends are not the problem. It's how trends are pushed to us in this short form content, telling us to buy now before it runs out, and not helping us understand how things fit our own lives. Hi, I'm Nicole, the founder of Becoming Uncultured, a media publication where we talk about fashion, beauty, and culture moments a little bit differently. The goal isn't to convince you to buy more things, it's to help you develop a bit more of a critical lens to help you understand what you should buy and what probably doesn't deserve a place in your life. Today, I wanted to talk about trends because I feel like there is quite a bit of discourse online surrounding trends. You have the people that are telling you to buy now, buy immediately before it goes out of stock. And then on the other end, you have people being like, that's just a trend. And I really believe that there is this place in the middle where trends shouldn't be almost cancelled, but we should know how to shop trends. So as you can probably tell, I don't think trends are inherently bad. When I sat down to plan out the concept of this, I kept coming back to this same thought of when I was a child. My mum would say that fashion just recycles, trends come back around. And I would buy something and I would show it to her, and she would say, oh, I used to have something like this when I was young. And I'm sure your parents or grandparents have probably said something similar to you, and they just absolutely and definitely are right. I feel like I have seen enough cycles of seasons where I have started to see things repeat. Fashion is always cycling in, things cycling out, and then a trend that you remember from like 4 or 5 years ago is back again. Although there is one trend that I was thinking about today, and I wonder what everybody else thinks about this, and it was the creepers, the shoes. I remember I so desperately wanted a pair when I was a teenager, and my mum just would not let me buy a pair. And looking back, I'm so glad that she didn't let me spend the money on them, because they definitely would have just lived for that one season. And at the time, they were expensive for the budget I had. But I was thinking about them today, and they are honestly something that I don't see cycling back into mainstream trends. But I'm curious what you think. Let me know in the comments if you think that creepers will ever come back around, or let me know a trend that you haven't seen repeat recently that you are secretly waiting for. But back on topic. So I actually think the word trend just makes fashion feel way more complicated than it is. Everybody trying to predict what the next trend is. But realistically, everything is a trend. Let's take butter yellow, for example. I have seen maybe for the past 3 years so many people talking about butter yellow. We've seen butter yellow nails, butter yellow accessories, butter yellow dresses, butter yellow shoes, butter yellow bags. I know that it's not my colour. And if you're like me and the butter yellow has just never really suited you or isn't a colour that you're drawn to, then it doesn't really make sense to purchase things in butter yellow. And does it sometimes grab my attention? Yes, because everybody is talking about it. Every store has so many different things in this butter yellow. For me, I'm just not drawn to pale colours, and so I just like to remind myself of that whenever I see something butter yellow that catches my attention. And just like the colour, it's exactly the same for clothes. So right now we are seeing capris everywhere. I'm curious, I want to see how many different Capri products Revolve has on their website. Let's see if we can guess a summary number. My internet's being mega slow. Today on Revolve, they have 23 different styles of capris. They have brown, gingham, denim, polka dots, red gingham. Wow, they just have so many. Hot pink capris, frilly capris, striped capris. They have so many different types of capris. I think that is perfect proof. Capris are trending right now. A trend is just what everybody is deciding to sell online right now. And right now, capris are the trend, but we will definitely see capris cycle out. I'm using capris, one, because I love them, but two, because I just think I have seen capris. They were cancelled maybe 2 years ago, and I was really sad about this, but they were cancelled nearly 2 years ago. But I feel like there's really good representation amongst celebrities who were still wearing capris, even though capris were cancelled, but they had found their own version of capris. So, two examples that I can think of off the top of my head are Hailey Bieber and Kim Kardashian. Both wear capris pretty consistently. I think I can think of 4 or 5 different Hailey Bieber looks, and I just feel like Kim K is a capri queen. Sorry, my camera died, but back into the flow. So Miss Hailey Bieber and Kim K are both capri queens, and I think they both demonstrate very well how two women with totally different styles are able to style the same trend. And that's exactly what personal style is. It's about understanding what your taste is and then being able to shop the items that are in season right now and purchase the things that are right for your wardrobe. So, how do you actually shop trends? I highly recommend not being afraid of trends. I think that they are one of the best opportunities to find something you'll genuinely love and keep coming to again and again in your wardrobe. I think the way you make a trend work for you is understanding what you love about a trend. I think before knowing a trend, there are a few things that you should just know about yourself before you drop any of your dollars. So the first thing is knowing your proportions and knowing what parts of your proportions you like to emphasize. For me, I have really wide hips, a small waist, I'm 5'1", and so I like to avoid anything that makes me feel very boxy. I feel like when I wear oversized t-shirts, it just doesn't lend itself well to my proportions. I feel like the bagginess just gets caught at my hips, and so I personally always gravitate towards high-waisted, cinched waist, because that is what makes me feel the most comfortable in an outfit. And then I think secondly is knowing the patterns and the colors that you like. So for me, a lot of the colors that I like are black, navy, brown, and I love a red nail. Honestly, I always have red nails, but I have started to try a few more red clothing items. So I recently just wore a red dress that I'm honestly obsessed with, and I got a red off the shoulder long top in the winter. And then I'm obsessed with cream. I love a cream top, cream on the bottom. I just think it looks so good. But then when it comes to patterns, I know that I'm not the most adventurous. I say that while I'm wearing a really adventurous, heavy patterned jumper. This was a quirky purchase for me last year, but I'm honestly obsessed with it. That being said, I am not crazy into patterns, so for me personally, when I'm shopping, I avoid anything that is a pattern. I'm just drawn to solid colours. And right now, I know that white polka dot capris are trending, but I also know that I would never reach for something polka dot, so there's not much point to me buying that item. Maybe I might wear it for a short period this year, but I definitely wouldn't reach for it next year. And then also, I think playing around with patterns is a really good way to help you figure out what you like. I play around with fabrics a lot, and when I am shopping the trends, I can look at the different fabrics that I have in my wardrobe, or the fabrics that I know I really want in my wardrobe. I love mesh, I love silk, I love linen, I love denim. I'm not really a huge jersey person, so the more like sporty or casual capris. I keep going back to capris. I feel like because I've just used an example for capris nearly everywhere, it's just the easiest thing to do. But the capris that Kim K likes, that more loungewear, like jersey, I think jersey is the right word. That's not really a material that I gravitate towards. So if I'm looking to purchase something, that I will typically avoid that look. And so if you are somebody who has a wardrobe filled with structured denim, I think that is just worth taking into account before you purchase a pair of linen pants. Before I purchase anything, there are a few things that I will think about. So, one thing that definitely makes me pause before I purchase is if I see that something is a brand and a celebrity collaboration. I think a good example of this is right now the Hailey Bieber Gap jeans trending everywhere. So many people telling you online to buy those jeans right now, and I can't speak to the quality because I haven't tried those jeans. Hailey Bieber is somebody that I love, and I do love her style and I do take inspiration from her. When I stumbled across these jeans, I was like, am I taking interest because it has Hailey Bieber's name on the jeans, or am I taking interest because I genuinely like that style? And when I asked myself that question, I realized this style of jeans is totally not me. Now I just scroll on by. I don't even think my feed is recommending those jeans to me anymore. Another thing that I like to be really conscious of when things are trending in and out is to not stack two different trends together. So right now we're seeing Capri's trend and we are seeing zebra print trend, and while I love both of those things separately, I personally don't, as I mentioned this before, I know that I don't really reach for zebra print, and so pairing zebra print with capris, I don't even think that I would wear them today, but if I were to cave and stack those two trends, I just know that they would live a very short life in my wardrobe. Instead, I like to go back to my simple color palette. Black is my safest color, so I purchase my capris in black. And then my final tip for when shopping is to just do your research. Look at the celebrities whose style genuinely does inspire you. Look at smaller creators, go on Pinterest, read publications, hopefully becoming uncultured. Think about the things that are in your wardrobe. Before I purchased a pair of capris, I honestly think I had about 15 different outfit ideas. I had basic outfit ideas, I had dinner outfit ideas, I even have work ideas. And so I think when you just pause and slow down and really consider what you're purchasing and how it fits into your wardrobe, and you look for inspiration to see if there is a version of styling that you think you're drawn to, I think that really helps you avoid buying pieces that maybe won't make it into your wardrobe for a second year. And look, you're not going to get it perfect every single time. I definitely don't get it perfect every single time. I have been working on my own independent style for maybe 6 years at this point, and I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what I like, but every now and then I do fall victim to a seasonal trend, and that's okay. I think for me, as long as 80% of my purchases are something that I will reach for next year, and I had a pretty good shopping year. And so I am going to end this here. I hope that you feel a little bit more confident when you're shopping the trends and a little bit more empowered to just focus in on what you like. I don't know if I said this, so I'm going to say this now. The goal isn't to avoid trends. Is to understand how the trends work for you, so when the trend moves on, your wardrobe still feels like you. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe and join us here at Becoming Uncultured as we continue building what I hope will soon become your favorite publication.